What do you do for your mindset? Because obviously you're running a lot of angles to your business. You've not just got your own permanent makeup clients, you've got all of this, you've got coaching and everything. So what do you do to handle all of that? It's a lot. You're a mum
It is
as well, it's worth mentioning.
I'm mum, yes. Managing my time is something that I have nailed nowadays. Prioritizing, making sure I'm not overloading myself. I only give myself 3 to-dos a day,
Yeah.
so that I don't feel overwhelmed. And then if I do more, bonus. But that's what I'm committed to doing that day. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning. That is probably my most productive time. I love it because there's no one else in the house awake. It's silence. I come downstairs, I have my coffee. I might do like 15 minutes of reading, or sometimes I'll do some yoga or something in the morning. And then I have my power hour. So at 6 o'clock, house is still silent. It's perfect. And I'll do an hour of just powering through on a task or emails or, a project for the day.
Hello and welcome back to the Face It podcast. I'm your host Jessica, and today I've invited on a guest who I've had the pleasure of watching in my own training journey for the past 6 months. But first though, I'd like to remind you that you can access training providers directly from our in-app training hub. Just type in keywords or a provider you are looking for and access a range of courses, ebooks and academies right from your app. You can read reviews and contact the training academy directly for more details. If you are a trainer or an educator or a course provider, you can join us and add your product to the training hub by reaching out to our customer service team directly, or you can also just apply within app. As always, if you'd like to hear more from today and want to hear more from guests just like today's, then please rate, review and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We want to bring you as much expert insight and inspiration as possible, and engaging with us in this way really helps us to do just that. But now, of course, it is time to introduce our guest today, Layla Hinchen, founder and creator of the PMU Circle. Layla, welcome to the Face It podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be talking with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I had to get you on our show. I'm an avid PMU Circle Pro member, and we're sort of branching out beyond just aesthetics now. We're welcoming on tattoo artists, we've got PMU artists, we've got makeup artists, we've got hair, all sorts of things. So as soon as I knew that, it was like, got to get Layla on, got to talk about the PMU Circle. So I already obviously know a little bit about your background, but for those of them that are on the podcast listening today, you've been working in beauty and PMU now for a better part of 20 years. Is that right?
Yes, it'll be, 21. It'll be 21 years in August.
Wow.
Um,
A
so
long
yeah,
career.
been here a
So for those
while.
listening, how did you develop your career into the PMU Circle as it is today? Like, what did that journey look like? And I appreciate that's a long journey, but if you want to summarize.
So I started in PMU, I think 9, 10 years ago. I was already teaching before I got into permanent makeup because of my beauty background. Previous to that, I was already a beauty trainer. So teaching already came quite naturally to me. I think maybe 3 years into PMU, I was getting asked to start teaching. So that's how I then got into teaching PMU. And I guess we was just helping so many artists on a daily basis through social media. Not my students, artists I'd never met were reaching out, inboxing me for help. And I was sitting there one day with Katie, who was my PA at the time, and she was like, we need to do something where you can help these artists on a larger scale without sitting there at 11 o'clock at night still trying to clear your DMs. And that's kind of how the PMU Circle was born. It was a way to try and reach more artists and bring quality education and, more importantly, support post-training. Because as you know yourself, you need that
There isn't
support, don't
any.
you?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not do
you
a
really
course and off
do.
you go. So yeah, that's
No.
kind of in short how it came around.
Yeah, it usually is because there's a need, isn't there? I had a guest on just before you, and it's completely different line of work. But again, it was sort of their clinic was born from a need, from a requirement at large. So it's interesting to know that you were getting so much and spending so many hours just doing it you know, just because you wanted to help people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then the pair of you got your heads together and thought, yeah, there's a big need here and we need to
let's
solve
do
it.
it.
So good on you. So for those listening, what is the PMU Circle?
So the PMU Circle is an online membership for permanent makeup artists. So it's for qualified artists post training. I'm still a very big advocate of hands-on training, especially for beginners. But as soon as you've done your beginner training, it's really there to support you. We have our lovely forum with our expert panel in there now as well. And all of our members answering questions and providing support on a daily basis. And then, of course, we have the educational platform. So every month we bring a new training class to our members just to help them start advancing their training and brushing up on their skills, recapping on the fundamentals. We also cover business, marketing, sales. We kind of everything a PMU artist would need is on there, basically.
Yeah, I mean it's so good. I left my training and I literally felt like, what the hell do I do now? Like, where do I go from here? Because doing a week's course is just not enough. Like,
No.
it's not enough in aesthetics and it's not enough in permanent makeup. So yeah, I think it was a friend actually that had been doing, I think she'd been doing PMU for a couple of years at that point. And she'd mentioned PMU Circle. I said, you need to get on there. So it was one of the first things I did out of training was come and like hunt you down and go, right, I'm going to join. And I think I joined, I'd been an artist for about 3 or 4 weeks and
Yeah.
joined immediately. And I just feel like it really helped retain what I'd learned in practice to actually join those masterclasses and go through the lessons and just refresh that and go away and work on skins and get a modeling. And it really helps cement the knowledge because there's so much to take away just from doing a bit of practical on a course.
And this is the thing, in a beginner course, you can't learn everything.
No.
It's you literally you can't. So it's nice to have the ongoing education as well for when you're ready. And I'm very, very big on there's no right one, there's no right technique or one way of doing something. And I do feel as a permanent makeup artist, it's really important that we learn from different trainers because we all teach so differently to achieve a very similar result. So that was kind of another big thing for the circle is the collaboration of so many different trainers sharing their way. And then as a member, you can kind of take the bits that you like from it, implement it, leave out the bits that don't work too well for you.
Have you found being a practitioner yourself? Because obviously we'll mention that as well. You know, Layla is a practitioner and you still practice, don't you? So you still do all of your own treatments as well as the PMU Circle. Have you found that beneficial even, by getting all these other people involved to yourself and expanded your knowledge, even though obviously you come from having a great amount of knowledge as well?
I learn so much from the classes. When I'm sitting there editing them, I'm always learning. Even now, 10 years in, I am still learning. So when we're putting them classes together, yeah, I love it. And I'm great at
Yeah,
getting artists on there that I want to learn from.
yeah, that it's an excuse to, isn't it? Exactly. You might as well benefit at the same time. So what is the pro membership?
So we've recently split the membership into two different tiers now. So there's tier 1 and tier 2, which is the foundation and pro. The pro membership is for more advanced work, more business, more kind of growth side on the business side. And then what we found, Jess, is because over the years you have seen we've added so much content. What I found as a brand new artist, someone that's fresh out of training that then was joining the membership, it can be quite overwhelming because it's like, oh my God, there's so much on here. I don't know where to start. So we kind of split the membership up. So the foundations membership contains all of the core knowledge and like the business builder class, how to get started with all your socials. And then like you've got the fundamentals of tattooing and the core classes are in the foundations tier. Then when you're ready, you can upgrade to the pro tier, which gives you full access to everything. And hopefully it's reducing a little bit of overwhelm for our members.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea because, like you say, you've been building on the resource now for a number of years, and there is so much on there. Like, I have no reason to kind of deviate or go anywhere else. The first thing I do is go and see if it's if it's on there, you know. And it's worth mentioning as well your support groups. So you've got your Facebook support groups, and it's so helpful being able to nip in and just ask a question. And everyone, it's such a nice, friendly community that you've built in there. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was very strict with building the community because
Yeah.
the Facebook groups that I used to be in was terrifying to post
Yeah.
in. You know,
Mm,
especially as a newbie, you would think like, no, because people are not very nice sometimes, unfortunately. And I think you
mm,
get that in any industry. So we was very strict when we created our community that, you know, if you've got nothing constructive or nice to
yeah.
say, then keep moving, don't say it. So we've built such a lovely, lovely community. Everybody is just so friendly, helpful, supportive. And I think you do benefit from constructive criticism, which is important when you're training, but it's put to you in a nice way that doesn't make you feel embarrassed. Because
Yeah.
I always say,
Like
do you know, like,
we've all,
if it's a problem you're experiencing, I can guarantee you 100 other artists are also having the same problem.
yeah, and you know, we've all been there as well. I think that's what, you know, you need to remember. And I'm in quite a few different groups for aesthetics as well. And like you say, a lot of it can be really quite toxic, and it just
Mm,
means that you can't get the support that you actually really need, because you
yeah,
can't, you know, just post a photo and go, guys, how the hell do I, you know, deal with this situation? What do I do? And I just think the community you've managed to build, like kudos to you and Katie, because it's really, really nice place to be. So for anyone listening that's looking for somewhere to go that really needs that PMU support, one, the membership, you're going to get that. The education layer is top tier, but two, the support that backs that up. It's the only
yeah,
place that I would personally go for this.
amazing.
So what are the main benefits of joining PMU Circle? Obviously, we've touched on a few of them, but if there's any others that we've missed.
So, as well as the education and support, I think it's a really nice place for networking as well, meeting other, you know, making friends in the PMU industry, because it can be quite a lonely place, can't it, when you're working on your
Yeah.
own all day, especially if you don't know anyone else that does permanent makeup. So we're quite big on networking as well. We do the buddy up scheme where we kind of partner members together for the month. I mean, some of our members have become best friends over the years. Now they go to all the conferences together. Some of them even opened
Mm.
up a training centre together. Um, so yeah, we're big on building relationships as well.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning as well, you've also got the PMU Circle shop. So, you know, there's a place you can go and get all of your
Shop.
bits. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
literally there's everything there all in one place. Um, so yeah, I mean, as I've already sort of said, speaking as a student in the circle, I can honestly say I would not feel remotely as supported without it, and I've learned most of what I know coming out of initial training from there. What was your initial goal when you decided to launch the platform? Like, did you have a goal, or did you just kind of build it as you sort of figured out what people needed and built it as you went? Was it one of those situations?
Yeah, it was kind of. I'm very. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest, but I have an idea and I just throw it out there. I
Yeah,
don't really
same.
go too far into it yet. It's like we're just launching the Business Mums Club at the minute, and it just
Mm.
started as a little idea, little conversation, and it's like boom, it's out there. So when we originally started the circle, I said to Katie, do you know what? Even if I get 50 members, that will warrant, you know, that will allow me some time out of the clinic to make some videos and do some education. So I had no idea it was going to kind of go as big as it went, if I'm honest. It was kind of just going to be like a little small side project. But yeah, it quickly took over pretty much our whole.
Definitely not. Yeah. But this is it, you can't always see that, can you? Like, you feel like there's a need, there's something there that you sort of need and want to fill for yourself, and then it just sort of snowballs into this thing. And I think when you find a gap, that is what happens. It snowballs
Yeah.
into a thing that you couldn't have predicted it to be, which clearly is what happened with the PMU Circle.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
means that we've had to adapt a lot as well to
Yeah,
accommodate
of
the
course.
growth, and we've made a lot of changes in the other parts of the business so that we can focus our time on the circle. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's so nice to see that it's helping so many artists.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you that gives you that why a little bit behind why you keep going with the circle, because you know you're doing so much good with it, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose then, if you could do your career over again from the start, what one thing would you do first? Because obviously, I know that you've spoke at length about in other videos of yours where I've got to know you spoke at length about your beginnings in beauty and all of that side of it. What would you do if you started all over again first?
What would I do? I wish I got into PMU sooner than I did. I absolutely love doing it. And do you know what I think I would probably have done sooner would have been more business kind of coaching and help on that
Mm,
side of things, because I guess I was kind of led to believe, do you know what, if you become an amazing artist and you perfect your craft, then you're going to have a busy, successful business. But unfortunately, there's a lot more to it than just being amazing at what you do. So I invested so much money into my education as an artist, but never
mm.
once, well, not for years and years, did I invest in business side of things. So I think that's a big thing that I would definitely have done sooner.
Yeah, I think you're right. That gets completely left out, doesn't it, in training as well? And this goes for different industries. It's not just permanent makeup. It's the same in aesthetics. You do all these physical hands-on courses. It's all about the technique and all of that, and that's wonderful, and you obviously need it. However, there's this whole other side of running a business that
Yeah.
just gets completely left out of your training. So people, then no wonder there are so many people, clinicians, practitioners, that come out of their training and just feel so lost and give up as well. A lot of people give up because they don't
That
have that baseline.
Yeah, I see so many artists giving up so soon into starting their business. So yeah, I definitely think it's important to also remember that you are running a business as well as being a practitioner.
Yeah. And you can be the best practitioner in the world. And obviously, that's what we all aim for, is for our techniques and everything to be absolutely top notch. But if you don't have that business acumen, it's a waste, a massive waste, because it's never going to get seen by anyone, or it's never going to go anywhere. So it's equally as important. It's the 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah,
You need
definitely.
both. Do you think it's important to start a career in PMU with some prior beauty industry or clinical knowledge? And if you do think,
Do you know what? I'm actually going to say no, I don't. Just
yeah.
from my years of experience teaching beginners, I was actually, some of my most successful students have come from office backgrounds, no beauty background whatsoever. I mean, other than, I guess, really that client experience and shaping an eyebrow, there's not a lot that actually crosses over from beauty to PMU. Not as much as you would think. I do think it's a completely different skill on its own, in its own rights.
Which is interesting. I mean, the guest I had prior literally was a mathematician before he launched his own, laser hair removal clinic, and then it just blew up into this huge clinic. And so he was in maths before. So
Yeah,
yeah, it just shows you it's about the individual, isn't it, rather than
it
their
really is.
backgrounds.
How dedicated you are to making it a success. I think a lot of it comes from the mindset as well, which is, again, it's another really important factor of running a business, is having the right mindset.
And you touch on that quite a bit, don't you, in the circle as well? You've got different modules and stuff on mindset. What do you do for your mindset? Because obviously you're running a lot of angles to your business. You've not just got your own permanent makeup clients, you've got all of this, you've got coaching and everything. So what do you do to handle all of that? It's a lot. You're a mum
It is.
as well, it's worth mentioning.
Mum, yes. Managing my time is something that I have nailed nowadays. Prioritizing, making sure I'm not overloading myself. I only give myself 3 to dos a day,
Yeah.
so that I don't feel overwhelmed. And then if I do more, bonus. But that's what I'm committed to doing that day. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning. That is probably my most productive time. I love it because there's no one else in the house awake. It's silence. I come downstairs, I have my coffee. I might do like 15 minutes of reading, or sometimes I'll do some yoga or something in the morning. And then I have my power hour. So at 6 o'clock, house is still silent. It's perfect. And I'll do an hour of just powering through on a task or emails or, a project for the day. That
Good on
helped.
you. Good on you. I mean, I could benefit from doing that, I think. I must admit, I'm a bit of a night owl. And, I do talk about this a lot with different people. Everyone's on their own sort of schedule. And for me, nighttime seems to be really productive. However, there's something about waking up early. And like you say, just before everybody else is active,
Yeah.
so I think being able to
It's like you
switch
have
that
no
would be,
distractions.
yeah. There's so
Uh,
much disruption in the evening. So
yeah.
much disruption. Yeah.
If you haven't read it, read The Miracle Morning.
Okay. No, I
This,
haven't. Let me make a
this
note.
Write that down. That was the book. I read it in lockdown, and that changed my life. I now enjoy getting up early.
Brilliant.
And actually, it's amazing because I feel like I'm more energized throughout the whole day when I'm up early. If I have a lay in on a Sunday, I feel rubbish all day. I feel lazy.
Yeah, it does definitely mess with your body clock. So no, thanks for that one. And anyone listening, that's the miracle morning. Maybe we can all benefit from waking up at 5 a.m. What do you love most about training and creating a resource like the PMU Circle?
I just love helping other people. I've always had a passion for teaching. I love sharing knowledge, information. The best bit for me is when I see people actually getting results from it, when it's
Yeah.
actually helping them improving their confidence in their business, whatever part of it is. But I don't know, I just get such pleasure from watching other people succeed.
Yeah, I think that shines through massively in what you do. And I think, it's relatively easy at the moment to kind of set up a training course, whether that's permanent makeup, whether that's aesthetics, whatever it is. It's quite easy to launch one and just roll one out. But actually, you know, all being, you can make money out of it, great. But I think having that real passion for actually helping people and you getting something quite spiritual out of that in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
is a much better way of doing training. I think it's a necessity, really.
And I think
Um,
as a trainer, if you hold that passion to actually really want your students to succeed rather than just look at it as a money thing or business
mm,
thing, it's going to make you a good trainer, and then you're going to have a successful academy. You've got to do it for the
yeah.
right reasons, I think, if you're going to teach. It's such a responsibility.
I agree, and your biggest advocates are your students. I mean, here I am, done nothing but sing its praises. So they are your biggest advocates. You're going to get more and more, and the reason that I'm on the circle is because someone else recommended it and said how great it was, and it was something that they couldn't live without. And so, you know, if you're not passionate and you're not doing your training to the best of your ability, and you don't want to see your students win, and you don't have the support afterwards, and they're not coming back. They're
No,
not coming back to you. They're not going out there and spreading gospel, and it's not growing your business as a result. So yeah, while anyone can kind of implement training, I think you really need to question why you're doing it and what the reasons are for it, for sure.
yeah, definitely.
So with the regulation changes being spoken about so much in the world of aesthetics, I know that it's not so much with PMU, just looking at the traffic light system, I think we're still going to land in green. But do you have any thoughts on how it might impact permanent makeup artists, or any thoughts on what you wish would be implemented by the government for permanent makeup artists?
So we've got the level 4, haven't we? We have Ofqual regulated level 4 for permanent makeup, but it's only being enforced in London boroughs at the minute. I am a London
Yeah.
borough, so I have to
Ah,
be level 4 qualified here.
yeah.
I do see this going eventually across the whole country. I think that's probably, if anything, what they're going to try and push with this new regulation. I spent quite a lot of time when we was doing some research before about just standardising the requirements across the country with
Mm,
talking to different councils. And a lot of councils did mention that they think it is coming anyway.
mm,
So yeah, I think that's probably going to be where we go with this. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think any form of
yeah.
regulation is a positive, regardless. Does it mean you're guaranteed amazing training? Unfortunately, not. That comes down to the trainer themselves. But it'll be nice, I think, to regulate the standards a little bit more. And even with a theory side of it, the
Mm,
amount of students that I would have on a masterclass that still had no idea on cross contamination or even how to just work safely because they was
yeah.
never taught it.
Mm.
So hopefully, at least that's one thing that will come from the regulated side of things. Um, But yeah, I think it'll be a positive either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I can agree. And what are your thoughts on the sort of permanent makeup and traditional tattooing divide? Because obviously they only have to be licensed. There is absolutely nothing in the way of body tattooing. It doesn't look like that's even going to be included in any of these regulations from what I can see. It's bizarre. It's bizarre to me. What are your thoughts
It
on that?
I think it's quite sad actually that the PMU industry is still kind of tied more with beauty as opposed
Mm,
to tattooing, because we are tattooists at the end of the day. We're not beauty,
mm,
but we get dragged into the beauty, more of the beauty side of things. It's like, body artists don't patch test or do the
no.
forms or all of the stuff that we have to do for insurance requirements. And there's not even a qualification, is there, for body art? It's all in-house apprenticeship generally.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so weird that we are both doing technically the same thing, yet
Mm.
we're like the complete opposite ends of the scale when it comes to this side of it.
Yeah, especially with the new regulations that, are coming in the next couple of years. They've still not been included in that.
No.
And I know, I work from a tattoo studio and, I'm a heavily tattooed person myself. And so I'm around a lot of tattooists. So there is a cultural aspect to it. I think there's that legacy to tattooing that's quite difficult for them to regulate. So I think a lot of that is the reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we suddenly do get considered more like tattoo artists rather than beauty, or whether this being brought in will segregate even more, which I think potentially will. Once the regulation comes in, it'll be even more
Yeah.
segregated. But yeah,
Hopefully.
it's interesting to get your thoughts on that for sure. Um, what do you see for the future of permanent makeup artists as an experienced artist and educator? What do you see further down the line?
Um, I can only see things improving, to be honest.
Mm,
With the access to education that we have now, standards have raised massively when we're talking about quality of work. Like if I look back at my first 3 months worth of clients, for instance, versus someone's first 3 months of clients that have only recently trained, the quality is ridiculous compared to what we used to have. I mean,
mm,
we never even knew the difference between inorganics and organics. There was no science, pigment science, or color, even real color theory. So yeah, I do think we're on the right road. We're getting better and better each year as an industry. We are growing, we are advancing, and as artists, we are learning more now about the skin and the pigments and the equipment, rather than just create an eyebrow, for
yeah.
instance. So
Which
yeah, I
again
think
is it's what separates you from beauty, I suppose, in a way, because it did used to feel like you're just popping on an eyebrow, and that's
yeah,
where that strange sort of divide came from. Whereas
yeah.
now it really is about the skin and pigment science more than anything else, really.
Yeah, we've really we've learned so much as an industry over years. And God, my course was 4 days long when I first trained, but there was no theory really, other than
Mm.
cross contamination, health and safety contraindications. But practical theory, there wasn't any to teach at that point.
No, I know, and there's so much more now, but that's thanks to obviously people like yourself and obviously a lot of your guests that are on the platform and come and share their knowledge. They're people that have equally been in the industry a really long time and developed products, developed methods, all of those things. So it's a really good place to be, and it's where the future of PMU probably lies, in a platform like
Yeah.
PMU Circle. So kind of bringing it towards the end now, really, Layla, but everything in the industry feels oversaturated. I'm going to use that in quotation marks because I feel like that's the buzzword of the moment for aesthetics, for permanent makeup. Everything feels oversaturated to everyone. But for those practitioners who are feeling like that, what advice would you give them?
I would say I don't think we are oversaturated, if I'm honest. If you look at PMU versus beauty, for instance, the beauty industry is way bigger than our industry. Like there's
Mm,
way more people doing beauty or lashes or nails than there is PMU.
absolutely.
I think a lot of us now spend too much time focusing on what everybody else is doing, maybe, and not so much kind of putting that tunnel vision and staying focused on what you're doing. So I don't even really check out competitors or, I know where I want to go with my business, and I just kind of stay focused on what I'm doing, and I kind of forget what else is around me. I have no idea what people even charge around here anymore. But I've got my prices. I'm busy. I'm good. So I would say, yeah, stop. It's not oversaturated. There are enough clients out there for everybody. Clients will buy from you as a person, not even so, you could have two amazing artists next door to each other, but a client's going to come to the person she relates to and feels comfortable with. So you've always still got your own personal spin on things. Just stop bloody comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, that's a really good way to sort of wrap that section up. Is it's very easy to do. Like you say, maybe when you started out a long time ago, there was less social media, there was less pressure to be like the neighbour, because really, unless you walked over there, you wouldn't really have a clue what they're up to. We've got a window into everybody's lives and businesses, and you forget it's just the best bits. It's always the best bits. And what might look like a fully booked clinic might be they're scratching their head all week because they've had one client in. You're not going to know.
It's not real life. Social
It's
media
not.
is not real life.
It's not. And so, yeah, while it might feel like there's lots of people now, it, like you say, in the grand scheme of those industries, beauty or aesthetics even, it's still relatively small. And so you've still got a real opportunity there to build a sizable business, and just focusing more on what you bring to the table and being a bit more personable, would you say, Layla? Not being afraid to get online and show more of yourself.
100%. I think it's so, so important. And get clients in for consultations.
Yeah.
As soon as I get someone in for a consultation, they've booked their appointment, because again, they meet you, they get to know you, they feel comfortable with you. So the more you can show that on your socials as well, even better.
Yeah, I don't think you can beat face to face. I mean, even I've started offering video ones just to initially get to know someone if they're too afraid to kind of walk in the door. Anything that's going to lead them down that path. Yes, it's not paid. Yes, it means it might be half an hour out of your time. I took a phone call the other day. It was literally, she just wanted to know about permanent makeup. She had no idea about it. She wasn't ready to book in for consultation. That turned into a consultation at the weekend. So sometimes it is just putting in that extra half an hour here and there and just being willing to kind of lead them on that journey. I think because it is, PMU's been around a long time, but at the same time, I feel like it's only really having its moment. It's starting to have its moment now. People are becoming more aware of it as an option, so it's that education piece, isn't it? Don't assume
Yeah.
that everybody knows what it is or how it can
No,
benefit them.
exactly. And again, just highlighting what you said, knowing that you are tattooing somebody's face. It's a
Yeah,
pretty big commitment from a
it
client.
is.
So they deserve a little bit of your time to
Mm,
talk them through the treatment, what to expect,
yeah.
and allow them to go into the treatment feeling comfortable.
Yeah, it's not like a pair of lashes, is it? It's not the same. Or having their nails done, it's quite a big commitment, like you say. So sometimes they just need 2 or 3 touch points with you before they feel ready to go, you know what, I'm going to jump in with both feet and do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just needs a little bit more time with someone, I think, as opposed to going and getting their nails done. But what's next for PMU Circle? How do you see it growing in the future?
We're working on lots of new classes at the minute. We've got a lot of filming days coming up. Trying to stay on top of latest trends and what you guys want to
Yeah.
see. So I don't think we'll ever stop with that side of it. Obviously, we've just had the new website launch and the app now. So the app should hopefully make the learning experience much smoother and easier to access for you guys. And then, yeah, as I said earlier, we're just starting another new little venture now for mums in
Yes, I saw that actually. Tell us a bit about that.
So again, this is something that just keeps cropping up when I'm talking to people, and it's it's so hard juggling being a mum, running a business. The business takes over, then you got your mum guilt, and then it's like you start a business to have more time freedom. Yet most of us actually end up with no time at
That's
all.
true.
So we're doing another little project, really, to help mums in business manage their time, run a successful business still. So it's like you don't have to cut back on business because being a parent. You can do both well. It's systemizing processes, automating, and managing that time better. So that's our next project.
I love that, Layla. Right? It's I come from an e-commerce background, so I spent 4 years in e-com. So one of the first things I did was automate absolutely everything in this business. The first thing I did.
Amazing.
Big fan of automation. It's not utilized enough in beauty. It's not utilized enough in
No.
aesthetics. Any clinic salon, for some reason, we're a little bit behind in this industry with that side of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of automating and getting things, systems and processes in place. So good one on that for those of you that are listening that are feeling a little bit overwhelmed as parents. Then maybe keep an eye out for that one with Layla.
Yeah.
So lastly, then, really, where can our community find you? Where can they find you? Can they find the PMU Circle?
So I would say Instagram, Facebook's probably the easiest place if you want to get in touch with me if you've got any questions or anything. So Instagram is just at the PMU Circle, same as Facebook. And then I've also got my clinic training page, which is at Layla Hinchen. If you want to find out more about the circle, you can head over to pmucircle.com. But my inbox is
Brilliant.
always open. So if anybody has any questions for me, you're more than welcome just to drop us a message.
Thanks, Layla. You've been an absolute star. Could probably talk to you all day about it. But I think it's been really, really nice to share just what you are doing over there. And there's a lot of benefits for people that probably haven't heard of it and are sat there struggling with their permanent makeup journey. And actually, there's an incredible resource there. So hopefully, people have benefited from this call. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.